Greetings, I'm Bairnt.
And I'm Ridley.
And welcome to
Meet Me at the Table.
We're going to begin our playthrough of Stranger Things Upside Down by Cool Mini or Not. This game came out of nowhere. I didn't even know this game existed. We saw it on the shelf of the local friendly gaming store, The Source over in Roseville, Minnesota, and we picked it up and instantly did an unboxing of it, and now we're going to be doing a playthrough of it. My family are huge Stranger Things fan, and my son is going to help me with this playthrough, so we're going to get to it. In the actual unboxing, I said I was most likely going to have my Patreons decide who we're going to use in the video, but that's not going to happen because we're going straight from the unboxing right to the game. So we're actually recording this the same day that we bought the game. So our characters are not painted. We did not get a chance to talk to the Patreon of what we should play. So we're just going to grab some characters, put them on the board, and we're going to play through the first season of Stranger Things, the board game. Our goal is going to be to rescue Will. And can we do that? If you want to see us try, then I need you to meet me at the table. The first thing we're going to do is get our season all set up. So we're going to take our season 1 event cards here, and these are our scene cards. We're going to give them a good old truffle shuffle so they're all set to go. And then after we do that, we're going to take the season 1 allies, also give them a truffle shuffle so that they are all set to go. Now, season 1 and season 2 do have completely different decks, which is a cool way to make this game completely different. And on top of it, like I said before, there is a completely different side of the board when it comes to doing season 2. The next thing we're going to do is get our action cards all shuffled up. There is a big giant stack of action cards, but you go through these faster than you could possibly think. We also have our item cards. We're going to give them a little truffle shuffle here so that they're all set to go when we decide to use them. The next thing we're going to do is shuffle up all of our tokens that are shaped like this. They're all in a big pile off site, and we're going to place them down on the board equal to the numbers that are found inside each of these rings. These tokens are going to be the action total number that we have to beat in order to succeed at whatever task we are attempting to do. For example, right here we have 11's powers. If we're able to help her out and we're able to successfully remove these tokens by beating the numbers that are on them, we're going to be able to use the powers we decide to do. Of course, the only place you can do that from is right here at the Wheeler House. The other thing you can do at the Wheeler House is get an item, and I'll explain how that goes during the playthrough. The next one we have is going to be our recruit and ally. For now, we're going to leave that empty, and I'll show you why in a second. The patrol is always going to have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is one of the foes in the first season. The foes are going to be the Demogorgon here is one of the foes. The second foe is going to be our van. The one from the Hawkins was a power and light here. They were driving around after them. That is the other thing we're going to do. Then we'll put down a few tokens here on the laboratory. They each get 2. Then we can investigate the lab from this particular location. And when we do, we'll be trying to go against those tokens there. The last one we have is recruit an ally up here. We're going to set that up by taking an ally card, putting it down, and based on the value we have there, that's how many tokens we'll be placing there. And again, like I said, we're going to try to beat the value of these tokens in order to be able to pick up that ally. The other ally is going to be down here. It's going to be Officer Callahan. We'll put 2 tokens there. His token number is 2. Just to show you what some of the tokens look like, on the back sides, you don't know what they are. They're going to be random numbers from 0 to 5. And like I said, you're going to have to beat that with the action cards that we're going to be gaining as we play through the game. You always start with 5, and that's how many you normally will have in your hand. Here in the Upside Down, we're going to fill up a few more spaces here. We're going to start with 11's powers. We're going to put 3 in each of those. These powers are a little bit, in theory, more powerful than the ones we had up here. These are going to, one of them is going to be able to discard 2 Demogorgon stacks, which my son has already told me I've been pronouncing incorrectly this whole time. The 4 stacks over here are going to represent the Demogorgon's power, I guess you could say. The more of these stacks that the Demogorgon has, the more powerful it is, and the harder it's going to be to rescue Will from these 3 locations. If we ever do get rid of all 3 of those stacks, we have won the game. That is the plan. The other ones are going to be able to reset fear tracks, which is our health from our characters. If there's ever a point where our fear track reaches 0, then we have lost the game. It doesn't matter who it is. One person that goes to 0 means we have lost. And the other ones, we're able to remove a patrol car from the game. Normally there's going to be 2 of these driving around, but if you can activate this 11 car, something cool happens, right? Mm-hmm. What happens?
11 flips the car over and like in the show, and then it gets destroyed and you don't have to use it.
Nice. So it's just like this, so it's a sonic blast, just like it is in the game.
Yeah.
Cool.
Game.
All right. Game show, same thing. All right, here we go. And let's see here. The last thing we need to do is get our rescue will token set up. The way you're going to do that is you're going to take these Demogorgon tokens. There's 5 of them. And you're going to randomize them with 7 other tokens that are randomly chosen from the pile off screen. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll take those 7. We'll mix all of those up right here on screen. We'll give them a good old truffle, ruffle, shuffle here. And at this point, we're going to take out 4 and place them down. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Put those here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll put those over here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. The last stack we'll put right down there. The reason we're doing that is adding in those extra tokens. Like I said, based on this character's power level, those tokens are going to make it harder for us to get Will back. We have the board all set up. Let's go to our characters.
The next thing we are going to be doing is putting the stuff on the board. For example, right by the school here, you place the Demogorgon, and that's where his starting point is. And then the trucks, one of them starts in the upside down Hawkins lab. I don't know why, that's kind of weird, but it does. And then the other one goes to Castle Byers over here.
Now that we have the board ready, forgot about the miniatures. I'm glad my son reminded me. We're going to set up our characters. Everybody is going to have a starting location, a movement value, and a special power. I'm going to play with Lucas. Lucas' starting location will be Hawkins Laboratory. We'll put him on the board in a moment. He does have 1 movement, and he has an ability that says start with 1 random item. Other characters in your location may use your items instead of theirs. So I'm going to grab 1 item here. Oh wow, look at this. I got the baseball bat. That's awesome. So you get +2 to fight. It's got all the nails in it. I think it was
Steve's bat.
it was who?
Steve's bat.
Steve's bat. That's right. He's the one that used the bat. He was pretty good at that bat. We're also going to take our fear track thing and put it on the start location. Like I said, if that ever gets this X, no matter who it is, we die. Notice here you're only able to have a max of 2 items, but you can have as many allies as you can find.
I'm going to be playing as Dustin because I look a lot like Dustin, so I decided it'd be funny to play as Dustin. But also he's one of my favorite characters in the show. So his starting location is Hawkins School, so like the middle school that they go to a lot, and get some help from their teachers. His movement is 2 compared to most characters. He can get an extra 1, unlike all the other characters. And he may move through locations with foes, so basically a lot to do with moving as his basically abilities.
Lucas is going to start right here in the laboratory.
And Dustin's going to start right here in the school.
The last thing we have to set up is the act track. You never get to play as Elle, but Elle actually becomes our tracker marker person. If you notice there's a 1, 2, and 3, that is going to be the number of scene cards you're going to be drawing at the end of your turn. So once you perform all the parts of your turn, you'll draw a scene card and have to resolve whatever it is, and not a single one of them are any good. The final thing we have to do before we begin the game is, lucky for us, we get to know the top number of every token that is out here on the board. So our laboratory looks absolutely terrible to try to break into right now. 3s and 4s all over it. The patrol has a 2 on top. That's not too bad. We have to figure out what Elle's powers are. There's a 2 on top of one of them. We also have a 4 on top of the other. Wow, there's a lot of high numbers out here. 2, and then the last one over here is 2. Those are at least giving us a somewhat of an idea of what is in store for us when it comes to the action cards we have to use in order to be able to perform these particular actions out on the board. At this point, we'll draw our 5 action cards, and I'll quickly go over how these work. Here's Lucas's action cards. He's got a 2, a 2, a 1, and a 2, and a 2. The numbers you're going to gain on these action cards are going to be anywhere from 1 to 3. That is the numbers we have seen on these cards. The way the cards work is they're going to have a value in the middle. That's how much you're going to get towards whatever action you're doing to try to beat those token numbers. The other things you're seeing on the cards is these walkie-talkies. These are going to give you +1 to whatever the card's value is, as long as you're using that card when you start in the location of another person that's part of your team. The one on the bottom is going to increase the amount of cards you're going to draw for your scene cards at the end of your turn based on how many you used that are found in your discard pile during your turn. At the end of the turn, of course, that'll all reset. So he's got actually a pretty bad hand here, because if I were to play all 3 of these cards, I'd be drawing 4 scene cards at the end of my turn. 1 because of the act number that Elle is on, and 3 because of each one of these having a symbol at the bottom.
Before I show you my action cards, I really wanted to show you this thing I made from Hero Forge. It's a Demogorgon. I painted it based off the Season 4 version. And if you actually compare, they're very similar in pose. I never even saw this one, so that's just kind of cool, I thought. This one's basically like the closed mouth version of this. I just thought that was really cool. So here are my action cards. Oh wow, they're turning out to be good. Oh my gosh. I got really good action cards. Except for these two over here, but these three are really good. So in this game, the rulebook says that the person who gets to go first is the last person who rode a bike. My dad doesn't own a bike, and I'm bike to school every day, so I assume I get to go first. I'm going to play this one action card to move 3 spaces all the way over here. You're probably wondering, why did I come all the way over here? Well, the reason I came over here is because I really want to get this ally. That'd be very useful for something I want to do later on in the game. So I'm going to use my 3 action cards, a 3, a 2, and a 2. Might be a little bit overkill, but I really don't want to risk it. So let's see if we're able to get him with a 2, 3, and 2. So we got a 4 and 3. So 3, 5, 7. We just made it. That means I got my ally, Benny Hammond. Unfortunately, he did not make it through the first show, first season. By the way, there will be a few spoilers for Season 1 and Season 2. Just be aware of that. But Benny Hammond, at the start of your turn, you may remove Benny from the game, because he died, to activate any unused 11 power. So that is a really useful ability. So we're going to take the 2 tokens that were for Benny and just toss them on in here, and just like that. We also have to mix up the pile, so let's grab all those and just like turn it a bunch. Oh, they went all over the place. Oh my gosh. Then I am going to need 4 more action cards. I got this one, this one. Now we have to replace our ally deck. So the person is now Barb. She did not make it through the show. Very sad. But that is our new ally. We now are going to be drawing our scene cards. Thankfully, there were not any like red things on the cards I played, but there's still one on the tracker over here, so we are still going to have to draw one, and it is Demogorgon Strikes, like the worst card in the game. Move the Demogorgon to your location, then any one character in your location gains 1 fear. If you're in the upside down, the character gains fear equal to the number of Demogorgon stacks instead. Unfortunately, as the card said, I'm going to have to place the Demogorgon right here, or as my dad says, the Demigorgon. And then we also have to add 2 things here, because it says 2 up here, and we have to try to win her. I also, unfortunately, will have to take 1 fear. Very sad.
It's my turn now. We're going to go into Lucas Sinclair's turn. I'm going to go a little bit more in depth than my son. Ridley, you had a great turn. That was absolutely fantastic, but I'm going to tell people a little bit more about how the turns work. When it comes to your turn, the first thing you're going to do is move. You saw Ridley move across the board. When you move, you get to move your movement value plus whatever number you want to use towards your action cards. So if I wanted to, let's say, play these 2 action cards, I would get 3 plus 1 for my normal movement to be 4 movement. And I could use that to move, of course, around the board. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can go wherever I want with the last 4 movement goes. You cannot move through enemies unless you have an ability to be able to do that. Otherwise, you have to stop when you get there. Also, you do not have to use all the movement values you get. So say I decide to play this card, giving me 3 movement. I could, for example, just move 2 if I wanted to just get to the police station. You don't have to use all of your movement. Once your movement is completed, you then get to do an action in the space that you ended. There are 2 different types of actions. There are uncontested actions and there are contested actions. Uncontested actions are actions such as get an item, calm down. You can also gather info. The way that get an item works is you're going to gain items from the item deck equal to the amount of action cards you use. And if you're doing it over in this area, you actually get to add +2. It's just right off screen. But that one, if you're doing the action here, you get to add 2. So you get 2 plus maybe. If I wanted to use this, I would get a total of 4 items from the item deck. Once you draw those 4 items, you get to choose one. You get to keep that and you put the rest back in the deck and shuffle it together. Another thing you can do is calm down. For every action card you use, you get to increase your fear back towards sanity or being unfearful. So that's a way of healing your character. Remember, one of the lose conditions is if any character goes to 0 fear, then the entire team loses the game. The last uncontested action is gather info, which is up in the police station. That one allows you to be able to look at the top of any place you want to on the map, and the amount of them that you get to look at is equal to, again, how many action cards you decide to spend on that. the more action cards you spend, the faster you go through your action deck. When the action deck cycles 3 times, and when it's going to cycle the 4th time, again, that is a lose condition. So you might not want to play all of your cards every turn, because that really speeds up that deck. And once it's gone 3 or 4 times, once it goes, you go through decks 3 times, going into your 4th shuffle, you have lost the game. Now that I've gone through the uncontested actions, the contested actions are anything that has to do with the tokens. As you saw, Ridley, he went for this ally over here. That was a contested action. He had to beat the number here in those tokens, and once he was able to meet or beat, then you have succeeded and you're able to get whatever is there. If you fail to meet or beat the token number, you're going to gain fear equal to the difference that you lost by. On top of that, then you take both tokens, or all the tokens there, you mix them up, and you remove 1 token and put the rest back out there. And that is then kind of making it a little bit easier, but again, you don't know exactly what token was removed from there. And of course, there are cards in this game that may add tokens to particular stacks. If you're not able to add tokens to stacks, you're going to gain fear if you cannot do that. So you kind of want to remove some of these tokens, because there are cards that are going to bring tokens back to the laboratory. There are going to be cards that potentially could give tokens to the Demogorgon and things of that nature. You'll see them as we play through the game. For Lucas's uncontested action and movement, he's not going to move. He's going to stay right where he is. He's going to do an uncontested action in the lab. He is going to investigate the lab. What I am going to do, I've got some terrible cards. I am going to use, now we know the top one is a 3, so I have to play at least 3 action cards in order to, or points in action cards in order to get through at least that token. We do not know what this token is. That token can range anywhere from 0 to 5. And if you want to basically succeed at this, you play 5. Now, before you decide, before you flip over any of the tokens, you're going to decide how many action cards you want to use. I'm going to use a total of 7. 3 and 4 is 7. I also can use any allies I have and any items I have that would help me with this particular test. Of course, the baseball bat does not work. It only works against a fight action, which again is a contested action. You can, for example, fight the bands, which you're going to use. You're going to go against the patrol stack, and of course, the more tokens you have, most likely the harder it is to take something like that out. We're going to play our cards. We have a total of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have a 3, and then whatever this token is, it is a 2. I guess I didn't need to play all those cards, but it was better to be good at something than nothing. We're going to put those tokens back into our token pool and give them a little shuffle so they might come out again. We're going to discard our action cards into our discard pile. Then we're going to be able to do what it says here. This particular place ignores one of the danger symbols that you found on the bottom of your cards that you're playing, which means you're going to be drawing less scene cards the more of these you're able to get rid of. I'm a big fan of getting rid of these because I don't like those scene cards. Once you have performed your action, you're going to redraw up to 5 cards. So oh my gosh, look at this, this is absolutely terrible. Nothing but red danger symbols. And now that I've refilled my hand, we're going to draw our scene card. We are on the first act, so we are going to draw 1 card because of L. Then I am going to draw 1 for every one of my danger cards in my discard pile for that turn. I have 2. I have 2 in there, so we're going to be drawing 3 cards now. But thank goodness for the laboratory, we're going to be removing one of those cards, so we're only going to be drawing 2 cards. So you're going to take the 2 cards you're going to draw, and you're going to reveal them one at a time, resolving the top card before you move to the second one. Our first card we have is, what is this? Federal patrols. Move each patrol 1 location towards you. Then each character discards 1 action card for each patrol at their location. That's terrible. So Unlucky Lucas is going to get both of these vile vans right in his spot, because I'm going to move each patrol 1 location towards you. Now I have to destroy 1 action card for each patrol in their location. So I'm going to discard, I'm actually going to discard these 2 2s because they have danger symbols on them. I don't really like those. That's the end of the first card. We will now discard this card into the discard pile, and we'll draw our second scene card. Our second scene card is Security. Create a stack of 2 tokens in an empty Hawkins laboratory slot. If all slots are filled, the character gains 1 fear instead. So we just got done figuring this out, but now we have to put them back. That was an absolutely worthless turn. It was is absolutely out of control.
Since it's the beginning of my turn, and this Benny card says use at the beginning of the turn, we're going to have to say bye to our friend Benny. He's probably going to get shot by somebody. And use his ability, where he gets to activate any unused 11 power. So we're going to use this one, because these patrol cards seem to be are probably going to cause us a lot of trouble. With that ability, it allows me to move the trucks, which kind of, I guess, references 11's, like the scene where 11 flips the car over, and the truck is now eliminated from the game. For my first action of my turn, excluding the Benny thing, I'm going to move to the laboratory over here. Now, I can move out of an enemy square, but most characters, except for Dustin, can't move through enemy squares. You can move into them, you just can't move through them. But since I'm Dustin, I have the special ability to do so. I'm going to be taking on Hawkins' Laboratory, the 3 over there, with my cards. I got 3 2s, but these walkie-talkies, since Dad's in my space, I get to count those as +1. So I have 8 right here, but these red marks unfortunately mean that I am going to have to draw some scene cards. And so let's see if I win. 6. So well, we did in fact win. I probably didn't even need to use this one here, but I did anyways. So we're going to discard these into the discard pile. I'm going to be refilling my action cards with these 3, and these, wow, they are terrible. Okay. I am now going to be drawing my scene cards. Now, since we have 11 over there, that automatically counts as 1. And I know I draw 2 here, but I only have to draw an extra one because I cleared out a lab. So we're just going to be drawing 2 scene cards. The first one, oh my gosh, Demogorgon strikes. The Demogorgon... Move the Demogorgon to your location, then any one character in your location gains 1 fear. If you're in the upside down, the character gains fear equal to the number of Demogorgon stacks. I think I read that already, but I'm going to read it again. And then Federal Patrol. Move each patrol 1 location towards you, then each character discards 1 action card for each patrol in their location.
I'm going to discard this card, which is awesome.
And I'm going to be discarding this card because of the thing.
Moving into Lucas's turn, I'm going to move first. I can, of course, move away from enemies. I can't move through them. I am also not able to do contested actions or free actions if there is an foe in your place. The only thing you can do is do a fight action. Now, I do have a baseball bat, which is going to give me +2, so I could give it a shot. The problem is I only have 2 action cards because I had to lose all the rest of my cards thanks to that evil van of death. I am going to now move over here, I think, instead, and we're going to try to get an item. So I am going to use one of my action cards, and it's only going to be 2, but there's get item +2 here, so I am going to gain a total of 4 items and decide which ones we want to keep. The items we have received are Waffles, I get +3 to help 11, Blindfold, I get +2 to help 11, First Aid, I get +4 to calm down, or Gasoline, I get +2 to fight. We're going to take the Waffles, which are going to give us +3 to help 11. 11 has some really good powers, especially in the upside down, but we don't know, it's a little bit harder to activate those powers, so I think that's what I want to keep. I'm going to put these back into the deck and shuffle them up. That's going to be the end of Lucas's turn. Now, the good news is that Lucas did not have to worry about the amount of danger in his action pool because he only has 1, and there is this -1 here. So I am done. I'm going to re-grab my action cards. I do get to fill my hand back up to 5. We got a 2, 2, 2, 3, and 1. We'll put those with Lucas. Then we're going to draw our scene cards. There's only going to be 1 scene card drawn because I only have to deal with the act. We have found ourselves the Demogorgon Feeds. I'm going to create a stack of 2 tokens in an empty Demogorgon's slot. If all 8 slots are filled, each character gains 1 fear instead. So as you can see, there are 4 open slots down here on the Demogorgon, so I'll place 2 down here. This one, of course, will be a little bit easier to beat than the top 4, but in order to... I still don't really want to take him on.
I'm going to move 1, 2, all the way to the buyer's house. I am going to try to recruit Barb by using these 6 right here. Let's see if we get her. We got 2 and 1. We do manage to recruit Barb. I am now going to be adding Barb to my small collection of allies over here. And Barb Holland, if you would become terrified, remove Barb from the game because she dies, and reset your fear track to the start instead. If you're wondering what terrified means, it means that your fear drops all the way to the X mark. So now we are going to draw 4 new cards. 3, I am now going to be drawing 3 scene cards because the Hawkins Lab thing. So here's the first one. It's the end of the day. Reshuffle the scene's deck and move the Demogorgon to any location in the Upside Down. Don't draw any more scenes this turn. I am now going to be putting the Demogorgon as far away as possible from everybody.
Before we move into Lucas's turn, I do have to put out another ally. We have found ourselves Karen Wheeler. Her ability is that at the start of your turn, any one character in your location may lose 2 fear. She's a little bit tougher to get. She does have 3 tokens, and we don't know what that top one is unless we decide to go over here and gather info. Dustin's been recruiting a lot of allies. I'm going to try to recruit an ally. I'm going to move over to the school to try to get a hold of Officer Callahan. He has a 2 sitting on top, so for our actions, we're going to use at least a 2. That'll get us at least through this token. Now I have to decide how much more I want to use in order to get the extra one. I'm going to use 4. We're going to use a total of 4, 5, 6 in order to see if we get this. Here's my 2. And what's the other one? It's a 4. Wow, we got it's exactly what we needed. So we did meet or beat it. So we'll put our tokens back in the token pile. I get to gain this ally. It says at the start of your turn, I may discard 1 token from the bottom of any Hawkins Laboratory stack, even if it's the last one. It's going to be an absolutely awesome ally to have. I'm super excited for that guy. We'll put out a new ally, and we have found, Jonathan Byers. Jonathan Byers is also pretty awesome. He counts as having a character in your location. So for anything that has to do with that, he's going to start. One of the main things is he now activates these on the cards because he is technically a character in the square with you. Now remember, you can have as many allies with you as you want, but you can only ever have 2 items. He does cost a little, or he's a little bit tougher to get a hold of. He's going to take 3 tokens. We'll put them right there. I only played 1 card that had a symbol on it that was bad. No, I didn't have any danger symbols. Wow, look at me, I'm amazing. I didn't use any danger symbols. I probably should have used a danger symbol. We are going to use a danger symbol because I do have a 2 card that has a danger symbol. I don't know why I didn't use one. We're going to get rid of that one instead. And I'm going to draw a total of 1 scene card because we only had 1. We only have to deal with the act track. We have found Demogorgon feeds. Create a stack of 2 in an empty Demogorgon slot. If all 8 slots are filled, each character gains 1 fear instead. We'll place our 2 stack right here, and we are getting closer. Not to mention, remember those little symbols for the Demogorgon? Those are now sitting at a 6 each. So rescuing Will is seeming a little bit daunting at this point. I also have to refill my hand up to 5 cards, just like that. And we're all set to move on to Dustin's turn.
I'm going to forego my movement and just try to get this ally, because at this point I feel like we're just collecting allies so that we can possibly at least have a chance. So I'm just going to use every single card I have because she has 3, and let's see if we get her. We got 3. I don't actually know if I got her. 3, 2, and a 1. And then I managed to get her. So this was a little chaotic. As you can see here, 3, so the 3 cancels that out. Another 3, a 2, and a 1 cancel out, and then a 2 cancels out. So I beat it by 1, which means Karen Wheeler will be added to my collection of allies. I only have to draw 1 scene card, so the scene card is security. Create a stack of 2 exclamation marks in an empty Hawkins Laboratory slot. If all 3 slots are filled, each character gains 1 fear instead.
So we'll place out our 2 tokens right here, and we'll also get to flip over another ally. We have found ourselves Stephen Harrington. He ignores the first fear you gain during any turn. So we'll put that out. He again is also going to be a little tough to gain a hold of. He needs 3 tokens. Moving into Lucas's turn, he does get to activate Officer Callahan, which I can remove 1 of the bottom tokens. I'm going to remove this token right here from the laboratory and put it back into our pool. At this point, I am now going to move. We did forget to fill up Ridley's hand. He gets a hand of 5 cards here. Instead of moving, Ridley thinks I should try to get Jonathan. So I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to use all of my cards. I have a total of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in order to get him. Now remember, I don't have any allies or any people in my square, so these aren't going to matter. I have a total of 8. That kind of, I believe, is not exactly how much I'm going to need, but we'll see. 4. I also got another 5, and then our last one is 3. So we got a total of 3, 4, 8. We did get 8. Oh, my math goes really slow. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is enough. I now have Jonathan as an ally as well, who now counts as having a character in my location, which is super rad. I'm going to discard these tokens back to the pool, put these into a discard. There are no danger symbols on any of these cards, so I don't have to worry about that. And I get to put out a new ally. We have found ourselves Scott Clark. At the start of your turn, each character may reveal 1 token from either a stack or from a foe in their location. That's pretty awesome. I will put 2 out for him, and we'll move on to drawing up our hand. I'll draw back up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, as you notice, we're getting close to the end of our action cards, so we want to, and once these all are depleted, we have to shuffle the deck. When you have to draw and you can't, at that point, you would move that L token to the next act, which means we'd now be drawing 2 cards instead. I have a total of 1, 2. Now, remember, with Jonathan in my square, these all are going to activate now, so we got quite a good number of cards there. We only will draw our 1 scene card, and we have Papa. Discard all tokens from any unused 11 power without activating it. If all powers were already used, each character gains 1 fear instead. From how I understand this card works, we have to take out an entire stack of one of L's powers. We're going to 11's powers. I'm going to remove that stack. We no longer are going to be able to look at the stack from one of the Rescue Will locations. We've removed that thanks to Papa. Thank you so much. Super bad card.
I am going to forego my move and make the best combo in all Stranger Things, Dustin and Steve, by recruiting Steve. I'm going to be using all my cards, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2. And let's see if we get him. Okay, so we got a 3. So my math is super awesome. I'm going to be putting, 3, 4. So we had 2 left over. I am now going to be adding Steve to my large collection of allies. I am now going to be placing my action cards down. I got terrible action cards except for that 3. I am now going to be drawing my 1 scene card. Search party. Choose 1 patrol to move 2 locations towards you. Then each character discards 1 action card for each patrol in their location. This patrol card is going to move 1, 2 right in front of me. This also means that I'm going to have to discard a card.
We do need to refill our ally slot again. This time we have another officer. He is going to ignore the first danger during any of your turns. I'm going to put out a couple tokens into his location there. And at this point, I'm going to move into Lucas's turn, who is going to use Officer Callahan at the start of my turn to discard 1 token from the bottom of a stack, and it can be the last token. I'm going to remove that token, now being able to reveal that ignore 1 danger, which is super good. And I'm now going to use my movement to move to the Wheeler house, and I'm going to use one of L's abilities here. My goal is to beat this one for levitation that says reshuffle the top 10 cards of the action discard pile back into the deck. The reason I want to do that is because I don't want to move to Act 2 yet. I want to stay in this act. So we're going to use, actually, sadly, a lot of cards to do this. I'm going to use a total of 8 points. Oh, I forgot that now that I have Jonathan, this card equals 3. So I'm going to have 3, 7, 8. And there's a total of 2, 3, so this is going to be off of there. So this could be, as long as this isn't a 5, I'm good. Okay, it's a 3. Hoofta. So I get to be able to reshuffle 10 cards back into the action deck. So I'm going to take our discard pile, give it a quick little truffle shuffle here, and then I'm going to draw 10 cards and put them back into our action deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, giving us a total of 10 cards in our action deck. And then once those are gone, I have no other way to get cards back in there. But that's a really super cool power to be able to do, because I don't want L to be, I don't want to move on to the second act yet and draw more scene cards. I'm going to refill my hand at this point, giving myself back the 3 action cards we used. I've got a total of awesome death cards here, all having danger symbols on them. Super good. I'm going to draw my scene card. It is the We're Everywhere. Move the closest patrol 2 locations towards you, then discard the top 3 action cards if the patrol is in your location. If these patrols are, if there are less than 3 cards, discard the rest of the deck instead. The only patrol card we have is this one. It's going to move 2 closer to me. It did make it to my space, so I don't have to discard the action tokens. Or I should say action cards, sorry.
So I think at this point we're just playing the waiting game, because like the Demogorgon has like 6 health, and that's going to be ridiculous when we try to save Will. So I'm going to be saving my getting the next ally with all of my with 3 of my cards. 2, 3, and a 1. Let's see if we got him. And a 4. I'm pretty sure we got him.
You've got a total of 3, 6, so that is enough.
So I now have Officer Powell, and he ignores 1 danger during your turn. So he's a fine addition to my collection, along with 4 of these action cards. I only have to draw 1 scene card, and the 1 scene card is They're everywhere. Move the closest patrol to location towards you. Then discard the top 3 cards of the action deck if any patrol is located in your location. If there are less than 3 cards, discard the rest of the deck instead. The van moves 1, 2, and I'm going to be discarding the last 3 action cards.
We can't place any more allies down. They are all gone. We have gone through the entire deck. The only ally we have left on the board is Scott. I do get to remove the bottom of one of these tokens thanks to one of my allies, and I am going to move into Lucas's turn when it comes to his movement. We'll move back down here and try to recruit Scott. Why not? Get all the allies. Allies are fantastic. I'm going to do a total of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with these cards here and see if we're able to get him. He has a 1 and a 5, so that's a 6. And I've got 2, 4, 6, 7 because I do get the extra one because of Jonathan. We'll remove these tokens, put them back into our little pool of tokens. I get Scott Clark now, which allows me to reveal 1 token from either a stack or foe in the location I'm at. That only happens at the start of my turn. I will discard these. There are 2 tokens, or 2 danger symbols on here. So sadly, I will be drawing more than 1 card. And on top of that, we now have to shuffle this deck in order to draw from it. So once this deck shuffles up, we will be moving L. Since I shuffled the deck, I will be moving her over to here. I will now be drawing 2 scene cards plus whatever danger values we have. I only have 2 cards, so I'll be drawing 3. We've got another, well, they're all 2s pretty much. There we go, fantastic. I did have 2 danger symbols in there, so I will be drawing 3 cards, 2 from L and 1 from my danger value because we've only uncovered 1 from the laboratory. The first card we have is this one. It is going to be Through the Walls. Each character in a location without a character gains 2 fear. The second one we have is going to be create a stack of 2 tokens, the Demogorgon feeds. This is awesome. These are pretty much the worst things we can be finding. Choose 1 patrol to move 2 location toward you, then each character discards an action card for each patrol in their location. Let's go resolve all of these. This is gonna be sweet.
All he does is eat food.
Normally I would lose 2 fear because of this card, but Jonathan counts as a character in my location, so I don't lose any. Ridley has a billion allies, but sadly none of them are actually a character in a location with him, so he is going to lose 2 fear. We'll place 2 more tokens here, and like my son just told me off camera, this guy's just sitting in the underground just feeding. He's nothing coming after us.
He's eating all those deers and barbs. That's all he's doing.
He's eating deers and barbs. All right, then the other one is going to be moving the location or these cars. The van will be moving 2 spaces. It's going to move here 1, and it will always take the shortest path. If there ever is a point in the game where it's equidistant or there's a choice that we do get to make the choice. It is not that the AI gets to go to make it tougher on us. We get to choose where we want this to go. Now, sadly, that's not going to be the case with this. It's going to move 1, 2 because it's only 3 spaces away from me here, as opposed to going 1, 2, 3, 4 around. But if, for example, it was here, and it had to move 1 space, I could choose which space it would go towards. It's up to me to decide how that goes. But sadly, that's not the case here, but I just wanted to make sure you understood that.
I was originally thinking about moving to fight the Demogorgon, but I changed my mind. I decided to go down to Castle Byers and gain Calm, which, if you're wondering what that is, it basically makes your fear, like it moves your fear tracker back to the start, and I'm going to be playing at 3 1s to do so. So that means I get to move this up 3, so it's almost at the start, but not quite. And now I get to draw 3 more of these action cards. Since we're on Act 2, I'll be drawing 2 scene cards. The first one, Toxic. Oh, great. Each character in the Upside Down must remove 1 of their items from the game or gain 2 fear. And the second one, Blood in the Water. Hey, that's Barb. Move the Demogorgon to your location. Then each character in your location gains 1 fear. Since no one's in the Upside Down, we are not going to be using Toxic, but the Demogorgon is in fact going to move towards me. Finally, he's not just sitting in the Upside Down eating food. He decided to come and be a man and fight us. And the rest of the card basically says I need to take 1 fear.
Sadly, I would like to get over there and start helping him with the Demogorgon, but this truck is in my way, so I can't really get there. So I'm actually going to move 1 down into the Upside Down. I'm not going to attempt to rescue Will. Instead, I'm going to pay 1 more action card to move myself over to here. I am going to gain 1 fear walking down this street in the Upside Down, and at this point I am going to try to help get one of 11's powers activated. The two down here are discard 2 Demogorgon stacks or reset 2 characters' fear tracks to the start. Our fear tracks are doing good. There are 3 tokens in here. I'm going to use a total of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe we'll see here. We're going to use these cards right here, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, because I do have some of the walkie-talkies on there. So it's 3, 6, 7, 8. One of them is a danger card. Let's see if we're able to get this. It's 3, 6, 9. It's probably not going to be enough. I'm going to use the extra cards. Okay, we're going to use all our cards. We're going to use 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10 to try to get this. Come on. We got 4. Plus we also got, what's this one? 4, 5, plus another 1, that's 6. I guess I could have gone away just a little bit, but that's okay. We were able to discard 2 Demogorgon stacks. You bet I'm going to discard the big thicko stacks over there. We're going to get rid of those. And that brings his total down to 5 stacks that he has over there. I did forget at the start of my turn, I'm able to remove this token from there. Also, at the beginning of my turn, I can look at the top of the card stack, or sorry, each character may reveal 1 from either a stack or from a foe in their location. And where I was already had the token revealed, but where Dustin is, he's with the Demogorgon, which means we can reveal the top of one of these stacks. We're just going to reveal this one. Oh my gosh, it's a 5. We're not going for that one. We'll discard these cards. There are 2 that are going to have the danger symbol, but we have revealed 2 of the ignore 1 from the Hawkins Laboratory. So I am only going to be drawing 2 cards from the scene deck. I do have this, which we might use next time for helping Elle. I totally forgot I had that card. I should have, or this item, I should have used that item instead of using cards. I do have to draw 5 action cards first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll see what we have found. We've hopefully found something. Some 2s and 1s and 1s and 1s. That's fantastic. All right, let's see what we got for our scene cards. The first one we have drawn is each character in a location without another character gains 2 fear. And the other one we have found is the patrol. Move each patrol 1 location towards you. Then each character discards 1 action card for each patrol in their location. Dustin is without a character in his location. I'm not sure if the Demogorgon counts as a character in his location. If he does, please let me know in the comments below so that I can make sure to put a note in the video. If there are any errors that are made during the recording of this video after it has been released, you can please check the pinned comments of this video to find out. But we're going to take 2 fear right here because there isn't a character in his location unless the Demogorgon counts as one. We were just talking and I totally forgot about this. He has Karen Wheeler, so he should have healed 2 at the beginning of his turn last turn and he didn't. And we also forgot about Steve, who then he could ignore 1 of that fear that just happened because of that card. So he's only at 1 fear on the fear track. The van is going to move 1 space towards me. And that's the end of my turn. We'll move over to Dustin.
First, I'm going to heal myself with Karen Wheeler by moving it up 1. I'm going to, yet again, even though Dustin's like the best at moving, I'm going to forego my movement and attack the Demogorgon. I am now going to try to defeat one of the Demogorgon stacks with my 1, 2, 3 cards. Let's see if we made it. And a 4, so that is not enough. I am now going to take as much fear from the distance I lost by, and since I have Steve, I will be taking nothing.
Just to make sure everybody understands how this works, he has a 7 and 3, 4, 5, 6. So he missed the result by 1. So he'll take fear equal to the difference of what he lost by, which would be 1 point of fear. If, of course, this is way greater, you could take a lot more. So it could be really, really bad. Though he does have Steve, and it ignores the first fear you gain during any turn. So he is going to ignore that fear loss since he did not pass the test. Once we have figured out that we did not pass the test, we're now going to flip over our tokens, mix them up, give them a good old truffle shuffle here, and we're going to remove one of them into the pile, and we're going to put this one back out on the board. Funny enough, if there is only 1 token and say we fail again, then you would also remove that token, succeeding finally at your action, but you would still take the difference in fear.
I am now going to be drawing 3 of my action cards, and then we are going to be drawing our scene cards. I am now going to be drawing 2 scene cards because of Elle. We got Search Party. Choose 1 patrol to move 2 locations towards you. Then each character discards 1 action card for each patrol in their location. And create a stack of 2 exclamation marks in an empty Demogorgon slot. If all 8 slots are filled, each character gains 1 fear instead, while the Demogorgon is very hungry. Since the truck moved him to my location, I'm going to have to discard this card. And I will also be placing 2 here. That's great. The Demogorgons has more health.
Moving into Lucas's turn, the first thing I do is remove the bottom token from the laboratory. Then I get to flip over a token in the location I'm at. And we also get to do that in a location where he is as well. Dustin's going to flip over the top one from the other big stack we have, which is a 2. I'm going to move with Lucas 1, 2 spaces into that location where the party is. I'm going to use 1 card. I would be able to move 2. I'm only needing to move 1. I am going to gain 1 fear moving through this particular location here. Oh, I can move up. What am I doing? I'm going to go 1, 2. There we go. That's better. I don't lose the fear then. And now I am going to attempt to attack the Demogorgon. We're going to go after this big stack. I do have a baseball bat, which is going to give me +2 to my fight, and then we're going to use all the rest of the cards I have, which is another 2. So we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're going to try to defeat this stack. We have a 2, then we're going to flip over another 2, so we're at 4. We're then at 3, so 4, 5, 6, 7, and the last one is a 3, so 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is enough to take out this big stack of tokens. We'll remove those from the Demogorgon's feeding area here, and we'll discard all of these. I have now used this item, so from what I understand, I'm going to have to discard that item. Since I was successful in defeating the Demogorgon, unlike poor old Dustin, I do have to move him 1 space. I'm going to move him right over to the laboratory. That's fantastic. Now you can also defeat the patrol as well, but we're not actually going after the patrol, which might be one of our downfalls because that thing just is becoming a nuisance. I'm going to draw back up to 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5. We'll see what cards I've got. A 2, 2, 2, 3, 2. Those are fantastic. We're going to draw our 2 cards from our scene deck and see what we have found. End of day, reshuffle the scene deck, and then we can also don't draw any this turn, and I can move the Demogorgon to any location. And notice it says the scene deck and move the Demogorgon to any location in the upside down. So I do actually physically have to move him. So I don't have to draw the extra scene card that turn, but I do have to move the Demogorgon. We're going to move him just down to Castle Byers.
I am now going to be moving down 1 to attack the Demogorgon. I am going to be taking a 3 and a 2 to defeat this, and it was a 3. I didn't even need the 2, but it was still worth it. So since Dad wants to attack the Demogorgon, I'm going to be putting him right there so that Lucas can shoot him with his slingshot. I'm going to be drawing my 3 action cards. Wow, those are good. And 2 seeing cards. The end of the day! Yay! Reshuffle the scene decks and move the Demogorgon to any location in the upside down. Don't draw any more scenes this turn. Let's go. And I'm just going to move the Demogorgon to my location so I can beat him up.
At the start of my turn, again, I'm going to discard the bottom token. So we have all 3 of those revealed. So we're going to be at -3 danger whenever we go through this, which is actually really good. I'm going to move down to Castle Byre with good old Dustin here and try to take out the Demogorgon. Also at the start of my turn, I'm allowed to reveal a token from either a foe or a location. I'm going to choose the foe, or Dustin's going to choose the foe. He's going to turn over this token right there. I'm going to go after this big token pile here. I wonder if that's a good idea. I don't think it is. I think we're going to go after one of the smaller token piles. There's no reason to have to take out the big ones if we can take out these, because the more of these we take out, the less those tokens are going to be worth when we go after Will. So if we can maybe take out a couple more of these, I think we could start going to try to rescue Will. I'm going to use a 3 and a 3. That's going to give me a total of 6. I think I'm going to use another 2. 6, 7, 8 to take out this one, because we already see a 4. And we also see a 3, so that's a total of 7. We're able to take out that stack. That's fantastic. We're going to put these cards into my discard pile. There's only 1 danger symbol, so it's not going to play any effect. I'm going to draw up to my action limit. I'm going to draw 3 more cards, giving myself a 1, 2, and a 2. That's fantastic. Now we're going to draw our action cards. We have found through the walls. Each character in a location without another character gains 2 fear. That's not going to play into effect because we are all standing in the same place. The other one is going to be move the patrol 1 location, then each character is going to discard an action card from the location. We'll move our Demogorgon back up 1, and this guy's going to come down 1, and we all have to lose 1 action card. I am going to choose to lose my 1 card here, even though it is a 2 for me. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to discard that. And Dustin is going to choose to lose his 2 card as well.
For my turn, I'm just going to simply move 1 and attack the Demogorgon. I'm going to be going for one of the smaller stacks, and I think after we go for one of the small stacks, we might be able to save Will. I'm going to use 3 2s, so 6. You know what? I might even use an 8. So we're going to go with 8 and try to defeat this small deck. Okay, let's see what we get. And a 4. So we got 6. So I guess I didn't really need to do that extra 2, but it was definitely worth it. I'm going to be moving the Demogorgon right to Lucas's position so that he can beat it up next turn. And here are my 5 action cards. Lastly, we are going to have to draw 2 of these. They're everywhere. Move the closest patrol car 2 locations towards you, then discard the top 3 cards of the action deck if any patrol is in your location. If
There's the 3 action cards we're going to be discarding.
If any patrol card is in your location. If there are less than 3 cards, discard the rest of the deck instead. And then the second one, Through the Wall! We love this card. Each character in a location without another character gains 2 fear. I'm only going to be taking 1, though, because of Steve.
At the start of my turn, there's nothing left to discard, but I do get to look at the top card token of a location or a foe. I'm going to choose a location. Oh, that 1 looks really good. We could be looking at the top one of him, but it's already revealed it's a 2, so we don't have to worry about that one. I am going to use Lucas to move down to here because I can't search this location while there's a monster there. I'd have to fight instead. So I'm going to try to go after this stack of 4 tokens here. We can see if we can start saving him. I'm going to use all of my cards. I've got a total of 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. I don't know if that's going to be enough, but we're going to give it our best shot here. I got a 4. That's a terrible start. 4, 5. Then we've got a 8. So that's 9. Oh, this has to be a 1 or a 0. Oh, it's a 2. No, there's 2 stacks left in his area. So it's a 2. So it's 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think that's just 1 too many. We got 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We failed by 1. Oh, that makes me so sad. We're going to then shuffle these up, and we're going to discard 1 into the area where all the rest of our tokens are. Now, interestingly enough, now that we've revealed that token inside the Rescue Will area, if it is the discarded token, we may see it now on the board somewhere else, which is an interesting concept. I'm going to put those 3 back there, and we're going to discard all of these cards, and I am going to take 1 fear. I am now down 1 more. I'm going to draw up to my hand size of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're gonna, now there's only 3 cards left in our action deck. And now I have to draw 2 scene cards. The first one is going to be the trucks driving towards us and making me discard 3 cards from the action deck. So now our action deck is officially empty. We'll be going into the Act 3. The second card is the move the Demogorgon to your location, and then any 1 character in your location gains 1 fear. If you are in the upside down, the character gains fear equal to the number of Demogorgon stacks instead. So I'm going to move our Demogorgon right to my area, and I'm going to gain 2 more fear because that Demogorgon has 2 stacks left. I also have to lose 1 fear because I moved down a street that has fear. I'm at 2 fear. We could lose this game.
So I am going to move myself down here and try to rescue Will. With my whopping 11 cards, I am going to be trying to save Will, so we already automatically have 1, a Demogorgon, which that equals 2, a 4, put it there, and then a Demogorgon, which will equal 2. So we definitely did beat it. I managed to beat it by 2. So if we count it out as 2, 4, 8, 9, that means I did beat it by 2. I also forgot to put my fear track all the way up from Karen giving me full power, but I am also going to draw 5 of those cards. Shuffling our deck for the last time, we are now moving it up 1, and we can no longer shuffle the deck. So that also means I'm going to have to draw 3 cards. We have Toxic, so that's going to affect both of us. Each character in the Upside Down must remove 1 of their items from the game or gain 2 fear. So I'm going to have to gain 2 fear. Then End of the Day! Reshuffle the scene decks and move the Demogorgon to any location in the Upside Down. Don't draw any more of scene this turn. And I think my dad wants to say something about his item.
Since I only have 2 fear before I die, I am going to discard the waffles. So glad I didn't use those before. I'm going to use one of my action cards to be able to move a total of 2 spaces, 1, 2, back up to Castle Byers, and I'm going to have to do the get calm down action. I do have to lose 1 because I walked through the street that's gained 1 fear, but I'm going to use pretty much everything I have here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I only need 7. We've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to use these 3 cards to heal my fear all the way up to the top. I'm then going to draw 4 more action cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I did forget, since I started here, I could choose to flip that up to help out up Dustin going into the next turn. I discarded 2 cards with danger, but that's not going to matter because we've revealed all 3 of the ignore 1 danger symbols on our lab. I do have to draw 3 cards from L. The first one is toxic. Each character in the upside down must remove 1 item or gain 2 fear. Dustin's going to gain 2 fear. I'm not in the upside down anymore. Dustin has taken, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 fear already, so he's getting a little bit lower. Then we have the Demogorgon feed, so he's going to create a stack of 2 tokens and place them right there. And the third one is Demogorgon feeds. You've got to be kidding me. This guy's just feeding on anything he can find.
Fun fact, since apparently I have Steve, I had to move 3 instead of just 2 because I shouldn't have taken that 1. Since the Demogorgon's apparently eating more food again, it seems like I need to go over and beat him. So I'm going to be using 3 or 4 2s and taking on one of these small stacks here. So we got 2 and a 4, so 6. Now, I did move through a place where it said gain 1 fear, but since I have Steve, I will not be gaining a fear, and I will be drawing 4 more action cards. I am now going to be drawing 3 scene cards. First, we have security. Create a stack of exclamation marks in an empty Hawkins laboratory slot. If all 3 slots are filled, each character gains 1 fear. Luckily, we have all of them unlocked. The Federal Patrol seems like it's all about Hawkins laboratory. Move each patrol 1 location towards you, then each character discards 1 action card for each patrol in their location. I will be discarding this 1. And the last one, oh great. Connie Fraser. Reveal and remove the top card of the ally deck from the game. If there are no allies left in the deck, gain 2 fear instead, which means I will have to be gaining 1, 2 fear.
Dustin's having a party right here with all the bad guys, so I'm going to go on my own. I'm going to use one of my cards. I'm going to use a 2. I'm going to use this 2 to move myself. Well, first I have to ignore one of these. We can get rid of that. And then I also get to flip over the top of one of these stacks for Dustin. There's a 1 on top of that stack if he decides to go after Demogorgon again. I then am going to move 1, 2 spaces down to the buyer house. I'm going to gain 1 fear moving through this space. I'm going to use this card to gain my extra 2 speed, I think. And then I'm going to use all of these cards, which means we're going to be drawing a lot more cards than I want to this turn. But we're going to use all these to try to get through this stack right here. I've got a total of, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hopefully that's enough. We've got a 4 on top. 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. Yes, we did it. Okay, so we've got another one of these wills cleared, which is fantastic. Now, I do have a total of 4 of these in my discard this time, and we don't have all 3 of those remove 1 or remove 1 fear, or sorry, not fear, but danger. So we're actually drawing an astronomical amount of cards this turn. This could be really bad. 1, 2, 3 for our act, and then I'm going to be drawing 2 more because of these 2 danger symbols on my cards. This might not have been the best move in the game. Sorry, Ridley. We'll see how this goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do get to draw up to my 5 card action limit, and we'll just put those over at the side and see what happens. This could be really bad. The first, actually I should put these in the right order. It should be in this order is how I drew them. The first one is going to be Blood in the Water. Move the Demogorgon to your location. Then each character your location gains 1 fear. I'll take 1 fear for that. The next one is going to be the stupid truck is going to move at me, and I am then going to remove 3 cards from the action deck because it is going to land on my location. We'll just discard those. Then we have the Demogorgon attacks me. He's got 3 stacks, so I'm going to take 1, 2, 3 fear, and the last 2 cards. Oh, end of day! I found the end of day. That's awesome. Reshuffle the scene deck and move the Demogorgon to any location in the upside down. I do not have to draw the final card, which is going to be fantastic. Where do we want to put that, Ridley?
Right there.
Fantastic.
As usual, I will not be moving. I'm going to be attacking this guy. So I'm going to be attacking this one, and I think the highest that it could possibly go is 6. So I have 3 2s here, and it's a 1 and a 4. So I'm very happy I did play those cards. I am also going to be healing 2 and getting 4 more action cards. All right, I am now going to draw my 3 cards. First, we have security. Create a we know this card. Federal patrols. Move the van towards you, and then each character discards 1 action card for each patrol in their area. So I will be discarding this one. And then the final one, great. Then we gain 2 fear. Or actually, I only gain 1 fear because of Steve.
Ready, Ridley? Win or lose it moment. You're ready? Here we go. I am going to move my character over to here. Before I do that, I do get to remove the top token from, or bottom token from one of the Hawkins laboratories, and I do get to reveal a foe or location in either my location or, sorry, in my location or anybody else. I'm going to do this one. I cannot sadly do that one because I wasn't actually there at the start of my turn. That's one of the things we have to remember is is it at the start of my turn, so it has to be when I'm there. So there's 4 tokens here. Are you ready? I'm going to use all my cards to try to get through this entire stack. Now the Demogorgon is sitting on a 2 for the amount of tokens it has in there. I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We've got a 2. So let's go ahead and start canceling some of these out. This is going to be kind of fun. We've got a 2. That is canceled out. That sounds fantastic. The next one is going to be a 3. No, it's only a 2. It's only a 2, so there's another 2, but that actually is still a 3. What else do we get there? A 0! How about that, Ridley? That's amazing.
You got it. We did it!
We did it. We were able to rescue Will. Oh my gosh, that was awesome. So there you have it. We were able to complete season 1 of Stranger Things. What'd you think?
I thought it was really fun. I really like the miniatures. They look really cool.
That's fantastic. There is, again, the season 2 that we could play through. I do enjoy the fact that this game does have a lot of replay value with it, and I enjoy that each character does play a little bit different. We'll have to try out some new characters and maybe a future one. If you enjoyed the playthrough, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when more playthroughs come out. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone. There you have it. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're excited to see what comes next, then I need you to meet us at the table.
A little bit different.